As I first reported this morning, or we first reported at least this morning, Best Buy's board and the company's founder, Richard Schultz, have agreed to extend the deadline for him to make a potential bid to buy the company that he founded. So how is this all going to play out now? Well, Bill George is the former chairman and CEO of Medtronic. He's also on the board of Goldman Sachs and ExxonMobil. Bill, always good to have you. You know, I wouldn't want to be a board member right now of Best Buy. I mean, if this guy doesn't come with a bid, you're probably in a sense in a better way, because if he does, man, making a decision as to whether to sell at a price that one can't imagine is going to be very high would be an awfully difficult one. What do you do if you're a board member right now?
This is a very tough call. I'm actually surprised that the board extended. They had no obligation to do so. I'm not surprised that Schultz pulled back. Schultz wants total control. When he's dealing with the private equity guys like David Bonderman at TPG and the folks at Cerberus, they're not going to give him total control. And so I think he's struggling to put an offer together right now. I think the board situation must be thawing between Schultz and the board for them to extend. And I think they have a lot of confidence, and I have a lot of confidence in Hubert Joly, the new CEO. He needs time to get this thing turned around. As you've seen at JCPenney and other places, it doesn't turn overnight. He needs time to get it done, and maybe he can see better results, and the stock will start reflecting those better results and increased confidence, because it's kind of at a rock bottom right now.
It may be at a rock bottom. Of course, that does give Schultz the time to take a look and see whether it's at a rock bottom, how Christmas was, how the fiscal year went, and his potential backers as well. You know, but I just. Where does it go from here if Joly's got time? I mean, well, actually, back to this point you made about the board maybe not having extended the deadline. It makes sense, doesn't it, though, in a sense? They give the guy the last chance, and then if he can't come up with it at that point, all bets are off.
Exactly. And if he doesn't come up with an offer, see, I mean, they shouldn't be selling at a rock bottom. They've got to look at it. They've got to look at a price in the 20s. I don't think that board's going to go for any price less than $20 a share. And
that's almost 100% premium from here, Bill.
Well, yeah, I know, but you got to look at where the stock was and how far it's fallen. And again, you don't sell a company at rock bottom. I think Joly has the right strategy, and I think he ought to be CEO no matter who owns the company. He's operated under a private company with the Carlson Companies. That was private. He can operate with Schultz. He can operate in a public company. I think he needs time to implement his strategy. He's restructured the organization. He said he will match prices with online prices, and I think he's getting very aggressive, and he's really focusing on service to give himself the margin, and there he has a clear competitive advantage over Amazon. So I think he's got the right strategy. Frankly, Schultz didn't have the right strategy. He was around. He was the one that led him into the difficulties. So now Bill, he's not a panacea.
Is the message then that perhaps Best Buy shareholders might be underestimating the traction that it may be getting or may be seeing in the near future? I mean, if Joly is really buying himself some time, is the hope that there will be proof of his efforts by next year?
I think so, and I think that's what they're looking. I think that's what the board's looking at. Otherwise, they just tell Schultz to go away, because if they have extended it. It's a unilateral extension. They don't have to do that. So, yeah, I think they have a lot of confidence in his strategy. However, I'd be a bit cautious about how fast the results turn. Look at JCPenney. Ron Johnson's had a whole new strategy, done a lot of creative things, but it takes time to turn around an old-line retailer. And look at Eddie Lambert and Sears. That's probably never going to turn. I think Joly's on the right course here, and he's got a winning strategy, one that Schultz didn't have, and I think he's going to pull it off. But he may need more than 3 months. He may need time beyond that. But we'll see. And I think the board is acting responsibly to try to get the best price for the shareholders if they go private. I'm not against going private. They just have to make sure the shareholders, the public shareholders, are well treated and they don't sell out at rock bottom prices.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine he's going to be able to mount a bid at 20, and if they're not going to, if you're right and they won't accept anything less, then he's going to have his chance to turn this thing around. Bill George, thanks as always. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you.